Okay, we're good on time. So, okay, now we're going to look at Farah, age 32. She's in your case study handouts, and if you guys can all pull that, it's really important to look at her BBT. That was why I chose her for this. So, we're going to talk a little bit about Farah. She was pretty young. She was only 32. Why do I have her in this class then? You guys will see. She had been on birth control since age 17, and her periods had become very light over time. She switched to continuous birth control around age 28, so she's already on birth control 11 years here, and stopped 5 months ago, but her cycles didn't return. Imagine that. It's so funny. People think that they can just take a pill and when it stops, everything goes back to normal, and that's not how it works for a lot of the people. Birth control pills and contraceptive are going to keep us in business as a profession. So overall, she was very healthy. She had a very healthy lifestyle, all organic, all really good supplements, except for she overexercised, in my opinion. So she was pretty fit. She wasn't like a bodybuilder, but she looked really good for 32. Like, she was really, really fit. She exercised, I think, at least 90 minutes to 2 hours every single day. So what do you think that's doing? That's driving male hormones, right? That's driving the body to make more testosterone, which could be creating a problem here. But it's also driving her body to steal all the hormones for cortisol, right? Cortisol for energy, for working out, for sustaining that 90-minute to 2-hour workout every day. So I think that was part of the problem. So if we look at her intake form, which is page 1, are you guys all there? Do you guys have the handouts there in the class? Great. So she had no period since going off birth control, no ovulation, but wanting to get pregnant. Imagine that. She had seen a doctor in town who actually referred her to me. So a lot of the MDs refer to me because I refer back to them. And so they know they can trust me. Like, they know if they send me somebody and I find something and then I send them back to their doctor. Actually, I have a lot of MDs that refer to me for that reason, especially if they want me to figure out where they want the person to look. I've got one of them that sends me people that say, just go see what Michelle says and tell me. And then they look from there. So anyway, this is a MD that refers to me all the time. Her diagnosis was she needed to do less exercise. So even the MD recognized that. And she did. She had calmed down her exercise. But she had a FSH of 11 with low estrogen, right? So the FSH of 11 is outside of our normal range, right? She didn't do an AMH testing on her. But the fact that her pituitary is sending out even more estrogen or more FSH, but her ovaries aren't responding with estrogen, there's a problem there. There's a big red flag there for advanced maternal age. See, she did her protein shakes, her little baby aspirin, and her prenatals. She was really pretty healthy. She did have a car accident, hurt her lower back when she was 18. Did that contribute? I don't think so. I think it was more her birth control for such a long time and her lifestyle. So let's go to her symptoms. Look at that. She looks really healthy. She's got nothing checked. Nothing. So again, that's your flag, advanced maternal age. That's when you want to be worried about, ooh, there might be something genetic going on here. She got her period in 5th grade, which I think is relatively normal. But that, remember, she didn't get her period for a long time. She also had chlamydia. I don't think that was causing this problem. If her immune system was really off, maybe so, but you'll see in a little bit. She's all about the pituitary being stuck in overdrive. And the ovaries not responding. So she had to do Provera, which is a synthetic form of progesterone, to get her period to start up. They did a ultrasound prior to prescribing that, and they found that her uterine lining was 2 millimeters, which is really thin, really thin. Her FSH was off at 11. Her thyroid looked good, but she definitely had thyroid referral areas because there's so much controversy about, does TSH really tell you if your thyroid's good? Okay, so let's look at her BBT charting. That's what's really interesting here. And we can talk about her treatments too. And she came for baby number 1 and 2, by the way. So I got to work with her twice. So baby number 1, we got lucky and she got pregnant on the first treatment with the acupuncture. So you can see here where I have the medications used to start the period. So we're on case study Farrah baby number 1, page 5. So you can see, remember I said if the ovaries aren't responding, you're going to get that spike up when the period stops because the FSH is having to work really hard and the estrogens aren't kicking in. So then she had her initial acupuncture on day 6. And it's still a little bit bouncy those first 2 weeks. And I also put her on supplements. We'll look at that in a second. And then I put her, then her second acupuncture session, her body finally kind of settled in and kicked in. I think the ovaries finally responded then. You can see on day 20 where the temps start to stabilize a little bit lower. Her estrogens are starting to build. And she's starting to get a little bit of cervical fluid too. And then she's got her third acupuncture session and she's got her temps starting to bounce a lot. So then you're going to think liver or gallbladder issues. What's that famous combination? The heart gallbladder timidity, the heart gallbladder disharmony. I see that a lot. So this might be liver or gallbladder causing this problem. And then she has got a nice temp rise. So she clearly has a good LH surge, right? And then the second half of her cycle, she's got this dip down, which I think is the implantation dip. So when the body's implanting, a lot of people will get this dip in their temperature and they call it an implantation dip. And I think that her body was trying to implant that day. Happened to be the same day I saw her for acupuncture. Now remember, I saw her after the dip, so I did not cause the dip. But when I saw that dip, I thought, oh, she's either getting her period or her body's trying to implant, one of the two. So, and it turned out to be a positive pregnancy test. We got lucky. I told her she got lucky too. Because I don't want them to think that's what's going to happen the second time. So, and I don't want them to say, oh, I saw this person got pregnant on one session, one cycle, because then their friend's going to think they're going to get pregnant on one cycle too. So just tell them they're lucky when that happens. So if we go to look at the treatments, let's just look at what I chose for point selections, and you guys are going to see this and how I diagnosed her. So her tongue was thin white with a thin pink body, so more like blood deficiency. She had excess in lung and large intestine, which could be some immune involvement, and deep in the heart, SI, slightly wiry, spleen, stomach, slippery in kidney yang, and slightly wiry and choppy in kidney yin, wiry in liver. So her pulse was kind of a little bit of a mess the first time I saw her, but her pulse responded really nicely, actually. I diagnosed her, so I tend to work off of imbalances in the meridian system for my acupuncture, like pairs, but when I do herbs, I always go back to your TCM patterns. So sometimes you'll see in my notes I have a little bit of both. So I've got heart, pericardium, spleen, liver, kidney disharmony. So like just that whole endocrine cycle not working well, with blood and essence vacuity. So we needed to harmonize that, nourish the blood and the essence. Her points happen to be a heart excess pattern. And so I did the heart sedate pattern. And you'd think, well, why aren't you boosting the ovaries? Why aren't you boosting the ovaries, right? She's advanced maternal age. Well, I can't boost the ovaries if the pituitary's not working right. If her pituitary's pathing everything to stress hormones because of the way she's worked out and she's been on birth control for most of her life, until I fix that, the ovaries aren't going to be able to accept the energy's not going to make it to the ovaries. It's just going to keep going for more cortisol. So we did a heart sedation treatment, and she was here. Today's new day 6. It was the first time she had ever gotten acupuncture. She was really kind of skittish and nervous, so I didn't want to do too much the first time. So you notice gallbladder 40's in there. We've got spleen 6. Those are added points. CV12, yin tong, kidney 12. That's kind of what I went with that first time. And she responded really well. Her pulse was a lot better the next time she came in. Again, another heart treatment though. Her spleen was a little bit inflamed that second time, so I had to work with that, which you guys would understand in my class. I'm also working on the practitioner textbook right now too, so that'll be in print here soon. To understand these treatments a little more. Heart treatment number 3, again, heart. Treatment number 4, she has the positive pregnancy test. Isn't that great? And again, it's still a heart treatment. So her heart pericardium is still in overdrive. Remember, the heart rules the receptor sites for implantation, which is why I think it was so critical. I had seen her on that day. And then she didn't come back again. She just got pregnant. She was done. That's all she wanted from me. So she didn't come back for pregnancy because she felt she was really healthy. So that's fine. We're going to change the tape and then come back to baby number 2 in a second.